Morning folks, it's Andy here from Bushcraft. Hope you're having a nice day and welcome to another video. So in this video I'm going to discuss my first aid kit, and I only have one first aid kit and I take it out regardless of whether I'm just going out for the day or just for an overnight or if I'm going out for a couple of nights. I'll keep it in this top pouch of my pack. It's marked with a red cross and also on the zip it's got this red toggle. It's two identifying features so that if I need to send someone else to my pack for whatever reason, I can say to them it's in the top pouch which is marked with a red cross and there's a red pull cord on the zipper. The other reason I keep it in the top of the pouch on the top of my pack is that way if there is an emergency I don't have to go tearing through my bag to try and find it. It's right there and that's that. So inside it I've got one of those Israeli field dressings, and then that's the pack itself. Right folks, so this is the first aid kit, and I will make an admission, it's when I ordered it from eBay, and when I did, I sort of misjudged the dimensions of it, and I was expecting it to be about this size, but now that it's come and it's the size it is, I do prefer it in all honesty, because that way the things inside it can be spread out, so it gives it, yeah it's bigger, but it gives it a really thin profile, so it slots really nicely into that top pouch in my pack, so it's all worked out really well. But another little mod I did to it was added another couple of these little toggles. It was just, my thinking was, the little black zips that it originally come with were quite small and thin, and if your hands happen to be wet and you needed to get in there quickly, they might be hard to get a hold of, so I thought these are a bit more substantial to get a hold of and open it. So we just open it up, and it sort of opens out like a clamshell there. On each side you've got this mesh with two zip compartments, and on this side is the side where I keep the sort of medicinal side of things, etc, etc, and this is where I keep sort of the wound dressing type things. But here I've got this torch on a lanyard, red light, white light, off. So yeah, the reason I carry the torch in my first aid kit is about a year ago I was out camping. I was only out for the night by myself, and I was sat by the fire. It wasn't dark, but it was on its way to darkness. And I nicked my finger with the blade of my multi-tool when I was doing a little task, and I went to get my head torch out my bag so I'd have some light so I can, you know, deal with it. But I'd forgotten my head torch. Now obviously it was just a small cut, it wasn't the end of the world, it was easily dealt with, you know, just give it a wipe with an antiseptic wipe, put a plaster on it, happy days, job done. But it got me thinking, had that been a bit more of a problem type wound, it would have been nice to have some white light, Now, since that time I've never forgotten my head torch when I come out to the woods, and I suppose that's the good thing about learning lessons under duress, if you like. They're the ones that usually stick the most. But I decided as a precaution, just in case I ever did happen to forget my torch again, that I would keep one inside the first aid kit. That way, if I have a sort of emergency after dark, at least I've got a small white light to help me deal with it. Right, so if we open up this side, so inside, as I said, I keep the sort of medication side of things. So I've got a little book of Panadol Extra Advance. It's 500 milligrams of, you know, paracetamol for any aches and pains you might be feeling. I get bad knees now and again, so it's nice to have a couple of those at the end of the day when you're chilling out. What I also keep in here is just Tesco's hay fever relief tablets. I keep a few of these rehydration treatments where you just add it to water so it gets all your electrolytes back into your body if you're dehydrated. I have a couple of these Dextro energy tablets. A couple of ibuprofen. And what I have here is some Metacam. This is for Rusty because he has joint problems in his front paws. Sometimes he can get a bit sore, so I haven't had to use it yet out in the bush. This used to be the one we had at home, but then we ended up getting another one because we thought we'd lost this one. So I decided just to keep this one in my first aid kit in case he started struggling when we were out in the woods. What I also keep in here is a couple of hygiene items. I keep my toothbrush and my toothpaste in this for when I'm brushing my teeth out in the woods. I keep a small pair of nail scissors, obviously for cutting your nails. Toenails, but if your fingernails, yeah, they're there for that as well. It's good to keep on top of your toenails because obviously if you're going to be out for a long time, your toenails are going to grow. You want to keep on top of them. What I also keep in here, in all honesty, these should be on the other side, is a couple of those lollipop sticks. The reason being is if I happen to, you know, break a finger, I've got some zinc oxide tape on that side of the pack, that side of the first aid kit, sorry. I can put the lollipop stick on my finger and wrap the zinc oxide tape around it just to immobilise it so I can get it sorted out properly. I know you could probably just use a stick in the bush, but when do you ever get a perfectly straight flat stick in the bush? So in my eyes it's you know, it's really light, they're just lollipop sticks, so why not take them? So on this side, this is where I keep all like the sort of the wound dressing items of the first aid kit. First thing I have here is a blue adhesive latex bandage. The reason I have this is I sometimes get problems with my knees, and there's been one time where I've actually had to strap it up and I used this bandage. Well, not this one, but one like it. But also it would be good for sort of ankle sprains as well. You could wrap your ankle as well. So just a nice little thing to keep in there. What I have here is some eye washing solution. Get anything in your eye. There's a few nights ago, me and the missus and my wee boy, we went camping, and the missus was just messing about by the fire and a spark caught her in the eye. Not actually in her eye, just she was really lucky to be honest, just on the top of her eyelid, but with to sort of wash her eyelid out with some of that stuff and water and a bit of ibuprofen. But she's a Trojan, my missus. She sucked it up and got on with it and stayed out for the rest of the day. Also what I keep in here is these low adhesive wound dressings. I've got a couple of smaller ones here and a couple of larger ones. I couple that with the zinc oxide tape. You can sort of make makeshift plasters with it, but usually what I use it for is if I have any blisters. You can cut a piece of this off using these small scissors that I keep in there as well. Put it over the blister or even the hot spot and use the zinc oxide tape to wrap it up so it won't move. Zinc oxide tape, sorry, it could be used on its own just to wrap up hot spots on your feet to stop them getting any worse, turning into blisters. Also, as I showed you the lollipop sticks, this is what I would use to immobilise the finger if I happen to break it. Small pair of scissors just to cut up the wound dressings as I need to. I also have here a selection of ready-made plasters, waterproof ones, different sizes for various wounds. And I have a couple of alcohol antibacterial wipes to clean any wounds that I may have, or anyone else, depending if I'm out with someone else, like the wife and kids. So that's everything that I keep inside the actual waterproof med kit itself. it's what everyone else carries. There's nothing fancy in it, you know. It's minor wound dressings for cuts, etc., blisters, burns, a bit of pain relief, a couple of hygiene items. But what I also carry, and it stays on the outside of this but still in the same pouch as where this is kept, is this Israeli trauma wound dressing. It's a 6-inch squared bandage, and you apply, I think it can take up to about a pint of blood before you need to swap it out. But you apply it, and it's got like a elasticated bandage to it. I think it's about maybe 6 foot of it, and you wrap it around the wound really tightly to apply the pressure. And it's got like a plastic C-clamp at the end of it with little crocodile teeth, and you clip them into, well, not clip them into, but you bite them into the elasticated material of the bandage, and it holds it in place, just so you can get yourself to a more populated area where you can get medical attention and get the wound treated properly. But there's a few pieces of kit that I take, and they're more, I'd rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them type items, and this is definitely one of them. So those are the items I keep in my kit. They're very basic, and they're all items that I know how to use, and you don't really need, you know, professional medical training to be able to do it. It's just a bit of common sense and stuff you've grown up with doing probably by yourself, or your mum showing you, you know, put a plaster on a cut. But I have seen a few videos where people are taking things that are just, I expect you probably need a bit of professional training to be using, like suture kits. I mean, yeah, fine, you could just sew yourself up. It'll probably look really gnarly once it's all scarred and healed up, but you could, I suppose. But there is a proper way to do it, and you would need to be trained to do it. And yeah, I see people carrying suture kits in their first aid kits. You could put a piece of zinc oxide tape over it, and it'll hold the wound together long enough for you to get yourself home and get yourself to the hospital to have it stitched up. But yeah, so I suppose some of the things that we could have talked about was like heat and cold injuries, hypothermia, heat stroke. I mean, so if you're in hot, arid countries, you want to prevent heat strokes, you know, stuff like, you know, wear fewer layers, apply sun cream, wear a hat, you could even soak the hat. You could wear a bandana, but soak the bandana, it'll keep the blood cool as it passes through your carotid arteries, which helps keep your brain a bit cooler. When you're stopping off for a rest, stop off in shade, don't just sit out in the blazing sun. And if there's no shade, put a tarp up, make shade, and just keep on top of your fluid intake. If needs be, take some electrolyte sachets and add them into your water. And then with cold injuries, suppose just, for me I just use the layering system, you know, I add, when I'm stopped, I mean today it's not so bad, it's raining, but it's not cold, there's no wind. But you know, I've got a t-shirt on and my shirt. But use the layering system, add more layers on to keep yourself warm when you're stopped, sat around doing nothing. When you're exerting yourself, whether you're chopping firewood, cutting firewood with a saw, an axe, however you're doing it, or if you're hiking around, take layers off to prevent you sweating. And then when you stop again, put layers on so you don't get too cold. Drink hot beverages, they help. Hey bud, a hot brew. Well folks, it's getting to that time again where it's time to go home. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Really appreciate you stopping by again. Everyone who comments, everyone who subscribes, thank you for doing so. If you're new to my channel, yeah, please subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Take care.